Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Family Edition. I'm your host, Likuyani Eli. Allow me to welcome Coach Collins Bolo. Mr. Bolo is the founder of Family Health, Life Skills and Career Development. He is also an expert leadership and relationship coach, specialist in psychometric, professional speaker, clergyman, and certified grief and loss therapist. He is equally a mediator, MTI. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Collins Bolo.
Okay, welcome everyone once more to this special Saturday where we talk on issues of family and relationship so that we can be able to learn, so that we can be able to get new tips day after day on how we can make our lives. Today is our last episode on why marriage matters. This has been actually a good moment for us learning more and more about this subject matter, why it matters, why it's very important, and why, for one reason or the other, it becomes extremely important to know where you are. We are living at a time whereby when people get to various type of crisis within their relationship, they pull out. Either the man leaves the woman with the children in misery, or the woman takes off for the sake of her life. I've seen people coming to my office for therapy, specifically on relationship related. When I ask them, are you married? Some start wondering whether they are married or they're not married. Though, why did you have decided to get into marriage? Or what made you become or decide to get into marriage? Then the reasons which they come up in one way or the other, they find out that has finally brought them into a big challenge, especially where they are. When all these crises are taking place, is it extremely important for us to know who we are, where we are, and what we are up to? This Saturday Family Edition, as we summarize the part of why marriage matters, I'd like us to remind ourselves of several important factors, which in one way or the other, it will help us to know how we can strategize ourselves towards becoming the best we can be as far as issues of relationship is concerned. And that's very key and extremely very, very important. Now, a group of scientists, sociologists, psychologists, even clergymen at one point of time came together to do a major research. Does marriage really matter? Because globally, in every ethnic group, different races, we find one form of marriage or the other. So far, we have not found any community globally which exists without a form of marriage. Now, if globally, principally, people live in one form of marriage or the other, then it means it's a need in one way or the other, not just a want. But if you have not been called celibacy and you feel like it is a need for you, what are some of the common things you need to remember to remind yourself also so that you don't find yourself in crisis? Most of the time, when young people are thinking about getting into marriage, the speed at which some of them run, when you tell them to hold on, think twice, learn before you get in, they're like, no, leave us alone. We know what we are doing. And they jump in very fast. Then while they're in, the biggest challenge comes is this. Please, can you hold on, relax, work out on it to work. Make sure that you're working out on your marriage so that you can get the fruits. They're thinking of jumping out immediately. When they're being told to jump in, they jump in. When they're being told to settle, they jump out. Where is the problem? Now, in other episodes we have been having, one of the biggest problems we found is that marriage is one of the institutions globally where majority of our people today get into it with great ignorance, but as much as they have big passion for it. I repeat, in our world today, it has been found out that many people rush and get into marriage with a lot of passion, but very least information as far as this institution of marriage is concerned. When it comes to our careers, people venture to our careers after a massive training for years, some for months, so that they can become perfect and they perform to the best. Then they get certified. Courage is the only institution whereby people get certified, even in their ignorance. With that kind of background, then we become potential failures even before we start. And the principles required for success in this institution, many a times we find ourselves ignorant. Now, due to that, with great calamities which people are getting within this institution, research was made by several group of people to verify and to quantify if marriage really matters or let people live the way they want to live. We have been tackling some of these issues, and today we'll be doing a summary on the same matter, so that in case you didn't join us for one way or the other in the other forums, you can be privileged to get a summary of the whole thing. Does marriage really matter? And if it does matter, then what are some of the things which we ought to know to facilitate our success in one way or the other? Now, interestingly, as much research have been done for quite some time about this subject matter. Now, one of the things which was found out by this group of scholars is that marriage matters because, let me just remind ourselves of this matter. Just a minute. Now, this group of research has found out that when it comes to family, here family our assumption is father, mother, and children. I understand also some are coming from a background of polygamous related home, which we acknowledge they do exist in some of our community. However, some of the findings which came up includes the following: that when marriage takes place, it increases the likelihood that fathers and mother have good relationship with their children. That's why it matters. That marriage increases the likelihood that fathers and mothers have good relationship with their children. Now, most of the time, when people intend to start families, they have also an intention that by the end of the day, they are going to have children. Though we all understand, not every child who's been born today is born within the parameter of family system called marriage. However, as more and more children are being born today so that they can grow and they can develop, it has been found out that when they are within a system called marriage, then it increases the likelihood that the fathers and the mothers have good relationship with their children, meaning that marriage matters because good relationship between parents and children can be best nurtured within a family structure and system called marriage. And that's why it's very key and very important. Which also means that as one intends to venture into marriage, it becomes extremely important for one to understand his role in parenting and raising his children, and how marriage becomes the best platform that the relationship between the parents and the children can become better. Now, this means then for it to work out well, because still we have children who are being raised up in the environment of the father and the mother, but still there are so many challenges taking place. Now, that's why from next Saturday, you must not miss this meeting, because a new month in our family edition will be addressing factor like who is a man? What are the roles of men in family and in marriage? How can men understand the dynamics of their role so that they can take charge, be supportive to their marriage, be supportive to their family, and make their children become the best they can be? Don't miss next Saturday as we're going to have this edition on issues of parenting as we start addressing the role of the man in marriage and family. The man as a leader, the man as a husband, the man as a friend, and the man as a protector of his home. Why? Because marriage creates the best platform. Not only that, it was found out that children are more likely to enjoy family stability when they are born within a married family. That children are more likely to enjoy family stability when they are born into a married family. Meaning, as children being born, the environment they find once they are born, it matters a lot in one way or the other. Now, this group of scientists found out that when a child has been born in a married family, high chances are this child will grow up with a lot of stability than when this same child is born outside a married system or family structure system. Meaning that marriage is key because it creates an environment whereby stability of the children emotionally, mentally, health-wise, physically can be a guarantee than when one partner is available and another one is not available. Or when both partners are not available for their children. We call them absentee parents. But with this program which you're running, with an intention of educating us about this matter of relationship and marriage, we need to understand this. The best platform to create stability of how we raise up our children and stability to combat life, marriage becomes the best platform for such to happen. And this is very key and extremely very important. Not only that, this group of scholars and scientists has now been researched globally. They also found out that children are less likely to thrive, that children are less likely to thrive in complex households. Children are less likely to thrive in complex households. There's some household which is extremely complex. For example, a child grows and the immediate person they see as a father figure is the grandfather or the grandmother, or probably uncles, or they're living with the relatives who might not give the best care of a father and the care of a mother. Fatherhood and motherhood cannot be transferred because it's something from within, an innate related issue. I understand sometimes there's some situation which can happen, and a child can be raised by a grandfather or a grandmother or aunties or uncles, even sometimes big brothers and big sisters. But do you know that parenting is not all about feeding the child, buying gifts for the children, giving them a place to sleep? There's more of inner impartation of the parent to the child through the aspect of fatherhood to the child and the role of fatherhood, which we'll be starting addressing from next week, and the issue of motherhood to the child. That's what I say. A father can never be a mother, neither a mother can be a father. Because fatherhood and motherhood is not just about supplying and providing for the family. It's a virtue transference issue. And that's very key, and we need to understand it. So when children are born in a complex household, then this kind of complexity creates a less likelihood that when life situations challenge and confront children, unless they are mentored very well, they are less likely to thrive. Some, it affects their self-image. I've had people come into my office for therapy. Someone is mature, excel very well in education, and career-wise is very well happy and excited. However, this person still feels I was never given the attention of a father, and never given the attention of a mother because they were never available for me. I know of a young lawyer who is very successful in her area of career, but she tells me when she is away from her home, she doesn't miss the parents. Because when she was in primary 5, she was taken to boarding school until primary 8, until Form 4. She was taken to Form 6. Then she was taken to study law. The emotional connection between her and the parents is as good as zero. She sees them as biological factor for her existence, but she doesn't feel like she misses them or she needs them. So whenever she goes to a room with the parents, when she gets them, she gets into a small room, relaxes, and doesn't have much time to talk with them. But parents are very happy to have a lawyer. Such complex environment within our homes damage the relationship between parents and children, even in future as they grow up. Married with availability of parents and right parenthood is very key for the success of the children and the growth of the children. Not only that, this group of scholars found out that cohabitation is not the same or equivalent to marriage. Cohabitation is not the same neither equivalent to marriage. Now, this brings us this big question. When you talk about cohabitation, again, now one thing we need to understand is that when you talk about cohabitation, you're talking about a process where a young man and a young lady, they can meet somewhere in the city, in the village, probably when they're in college or they're working together. And when the chemicals start taking place between both of them, then they prefer, why don't we start staying together? Then if all will be well in future, we can marry. Then in the process of thinking of staying together, maybe the lady might become expectant or not, they might just decide to start staying together. Within no time, firstborn has come up. The secondborn has come up at the same time. Then these guys declares themselves as husband and wife. But in real sense, these guys are just cohabiting. It's never traditional civil marriage nor religious marriage. It has been found out that cohabitation is not equivalent to marriage. You're either married or you're not married. So if you are cohabiting, it is not bad. No wonder cohabiting partners are not committed into their marriage as married couples. Now, what pains even more is that someone might cohabit for 4 years or 5 years, and when the relationship breaks, he believes he or she was in marriage and the marriage is broken, yet it never existed. Why? It has been found out that cohabiting partners' commitment for marriage is less in comparison to married couples who know what they're doing. Excuse me. They understand their role and the price they need to pay for their relationship. That's why I should advise young men and young ladies. For the ladies, if the man just wants to cohabit with you and not willing to commit himself to marry you, run away. For men, commitment is the real symbol of love. As much as for women, it is more emotional. Are you cohabiting? Are you married? Or are you not married? If you are cohabiting, excuse me, I just like to challenge you. Why don't you organize marriage and enjoy the benefits which come with marriage? All this you can be able to learn in our family edition series every Saturday from 9:30 to 10. Great wisdom for life, great inspiration for life. Why? You don't need to find yourself in a situation whereby you think you're married yet you are not. Probably you are just but wasting your time and wasting your energy. And most of the time, when people find themselves in this scenario, they start hating women and they start hating men. Find them talk about men, all men are beasts. You can never trust a woman, all women are prostitutes. No, they are not. Your personal predicament cannot become a universal and global reality. Most of the times, the challenge we have is this: we don't make decisions based on good research and finding. Concept for success in our relationship, we don't spend our time to investigate. And finally, we find ourselves in big trouble. Where are you today? Are you wasting your time and energy? Thanks to Joyce Goto, who is tuned on listening to us. Kevin Dachi, I really appreciate you for joining us today. Kevin Tindi, also, I really appreciate you. I can see you guys. You are really on our program, watching live from where you are. And I'm quite sure that this, many more, are going to join us and continue to learn more and more about Family Edition for the sake of gaining wisdom, gaining knowledge, and gaining understanding. I don't know, for those who are far listening to us, if maybe you might be having a question from where you are. This is your time. We really appreciate hearing from you. In case you have a question, and would like to post it for us. We really appreciate so much, even as you get to listen to us. Right. Next, from next week, as we meet, we'll start addressing dynamics of marriage as far as parenting is concerned. We'll start by asking ourselves this simple question: who is man? Because if men will be able to understand themselves, and if our women will be able to understand their men, I'm quite sure that in one way or the other, we are going to have great success and great victory, even as far as our relationship and marriage is concerned. Next Saturday, make sure that you don't miss these episodes. Make sure that you are right in to learn and to engage yourself into this great inspiration, information, and also great knowledge, which will bring a lot of difference in your life. Thank you so much. God bless you. Let's connect next Saturday as we learn more